Merry Mother's Day, everybody. I don't know who's here. I don't think anybody's here. Uh, if you're wondering why I'm live, and even if you're here later on to see it, it's because my mom doesn't celebrate anything because she's a Jehovah's Witness. So since she's a Jehovah's Witness, I never know when there's holidays. So I think today is Mother's Day. I've heard around town that it is. Uh, but yeah, if the only thing I can do for my mom that's a Jehovah's Witness is not celebrate Mother's Day with her, and that would be her ideal gift, I guess, if you would call it that. I don't know. Anyways, I didn't know what to expect for today, so I'm just here. I've invited a bunch of people, so hopefully they're not celebrating Mother's Day with their mothers, but there might be. I'm not sure. I always pick funny days to go live. My very first live was on the Super Bowl, so this is not foreign to me. But yeah, I didn't really have much to talk about. I was hoping that some people would take me up on the offer because I was hoping to have a back and forth with somebody. But yeek, it's like there's nobody around. What's going on? I haven't got one email back. It's funny. Oh well. Anything new? I guess the only thing that's been out is Jeremiah saying he's gonna have his last stream. Is it gonna be his last stream? I doubt it. He's probably this is the last time. I can't do his voice. I'm not. I can't do the Jeremiah impression. I can do other impressions. I can't do his. Kick does that one. He owns that one. You should do that one a lot more. Uh, what else is new? What has been going on? Not much. Uh, see. Oh yeah, that one guy got arrested. Who was that guy? Who was that drunk? The drunk auditor that FNN covered. I just saw that video this morning. Does anybody know who that frauditor was? What was his name? East was it East Coast or East Side or what the fuck? Um, yeah, that auditor is something else. I don't know what's wrong with them, but he was all drunk and he was doing that. He was doing that thing that everybody does when they get too drunk. Well, not everybody, but the people who can't handle their liquor and they get all emotional, like, my rights. Oh man, seriously, like today's just been is a slow day. Hey, message of peace. Thank you for showing up. Um, I was is today Mother's Day? I I I I know I should know this, but my mom doesn't celebrate Mother's Day because she's a Jehovah's Witness. So these things usually just go over my head. So I'm insecure about saying Happy Mother's Day if it is Mother's Day. If it is, then Happy Mother's Day to everybody who is a mother and the fathers that are mothers. I don't know. Anybody who's has a mother and is celebrating their Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who celebrate Happy Mother's Day. So Happy Mother's Day to them too. I just, I wish I could be excited for that kind of stuff. But growing up with Jehovah's Witnesses, just like it would just like pass by us. There you go. Okay. What I would do for my mom is that I would wake her up with a text saying, "I'm not celebrating Mother's Day just for you, mom." Yeah, I can't do nothing about it. That's the life of Jehovah's Witness. But I'm happy you got at least your son remembered you, huh? How many kids you got, Vestige? You just got a son. You have like 2, 3 kids, 5, 13. Estoy bien, Peck. Estoy bien. ¿Cómo estás tú? It's nice to see you, buddy. Oh man, such a only one. Okay. Was that planned? I don't know. I I've only had close calls. I haven't had one, so I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if my life would have been better without one or with one. Without no, yeah, with one. A Jehovah's Witness show? Ah, okay, message. She's all like, oh, that. Oh, it's because of that. All right, okay. So what? What the hell is that? If that's some new Jehovah's Witness stuff, I have no idea because I haven't been to anything Jehovah's Witness related since I was like 18. So I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with them now. I just respect my mom's. I respect my mom's rights. But yeah, uh, no Scotto. Man, no. But did everybody get drunk yesterday, or everybody celebrating Mother's Day today? Oh boy. Hey, did anybody get to see the Graham and Bob premiere? I missed it. I was like, well, normally I get a couple of like messages back from what I said and everything. I didn't get nothing. I fell asleep all the way through my start time. I was like, what the hell? What's up, Pokey? How you doing, bud? You hanging out? How's it? Happy Mother's Day to you and your moms and your wife or whatever. Not trying to dox anybody. No way, really, Peg? They got a whole cartoon now, huh? There he is.
Hey, what's up,
Oh, oh,
troublemaker?
that's what's going on. I forgot, Katie, that people go to church. No, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm in the West Coast, so it's like I know everybody who lives in the East or in that area over there's probably got their day started already. My day is just starting.
You're such a sinner, Jerry.
Well, I mean, okay, and the thing is that unlike unlike when I was like 18, because when you're 18, everything is like I know everything, and screw the man, and stuff like that. So you also have like a natural thing to like be to be against religious you know sex or whatever, and different things that are religious based. But in my experiences and stuff like that, I've learned to appreciate that churches and things like that bring together community. Now, uh, I'm still an atheist, but not for the same reason that I was when I was younger. Because when I was younger, it was more or less an authority thing. You know what I mean? It was me going up against authority. It wasn't really so much how I feel about it now. And what I feel about it now is that I don't have like any real like thoughts on spirituality because I never felt any kind of spirituality. Now, I have spoken to my spiritual friends. I've spoken to a lot of people who are religious, and I try to find it in them, and they tell me that it's like kind of like your own experience and everything. So I'm still looking for that, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm just sincere about where I'm at because I don't like making people feel like hey, like I'm with you and everything when I'm really not. I like
Hmm.
to be like, hey, this is where I'm at. It's not a contention because I really don't like to like bring it up, but I do it just so that everybody understands, like where I'm at. I'm not gonna sit and debate people about it and stuff like that because I don't like doing that stuff. I don't like, you believe in what you believe in, and I appreciate that. I wish that I could believe like some people do because I think it's genuine. I don't think it's fake. You know what I mean? But I would be faking it if I said I did and I don't.
Right, and it's good to be honest, and also to have this what I call a kind of a live and let live mentality. I grew up as a child of Pentecostal preachers, so I actively don't really practice anything right now. But hey, whatever religion someone decides to do, it's all their personal choice and it's their personal business, and I have no say in it. I cannot question someone else's faith.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that was something that that like I said before, it was an authority figure thing. Like I didn't understand why I was so like contentious when it came to religion, but it was more of an authority thing, and also because growing up Jehovah's Witness, you're it's that's such like a cultist type of like group. So it's like it's I don't like it. I mean, I don't like that my mom's a part of it, but she's a part of it. And what am I gonna do? I'm gonna stop talking to my mom. Yeah, right. Um, it's just that that culture like it breeds something in you that makes you very contentious when you get out of it. And like
Hmm.
especially if you're really like looking into stuff, you get upset with it. I think I probably would have had a better relationship with God if probably would have came up in a better church. I think I'm not saying that that's true, but I think that a lot of it started off because of the religion that I started in. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
this is not getting into all that. I just wanted to let you guys know where I'm at. It's not as and I completely respect everybody who believes more so than me because like I said, I wish I could have a feeling that I knew that I had like a secure feeling like that. I don't. I'm just I, that's pretty much where I'm at with that. So I'm gonna let that
Like
go and
Meryl
just.
Streep at the end of that movie. Meryl Streep did this movie called Doubt, and it's about this. She's just this really hard as nails nun. And finally, at the very end of the movie, before the last line of the movie, she breaks down and says, I have doubts. So there you are, Jerry. You have doubts.
Well, it's not. You know what? To be honest with you, it's not really doubts. It's just that like I actively seek that spirituality. Like I'm not even gonna lie, I actively seek it, but it's just not there, and I definitely will not fake it. I will not fake something like that. I think it's I think it's an insult to my friends that are really spiritual to be like, yeah, I believe now, just to make either them feel good or to make myself feel good, like if I'm a part of something. You know what I mean? Like I can't do it. I can't do it. Not with something like that. I believe it's sacred, and I would never do that to my friends that are religious. Never. I can't do that to them because
In
like
the
it's just.
Pentecostal world, we call that person a Pharisee. So, yeah, you don't want to be a Pharisee, Jerry.
Thanks. Yeah, but I didn't mean to get into all that. And just because Katie was like, oh, I came back from church, which is cool. Like I said, I've actually been a part of some churches just because I was in that, like in that journey to try to find stuff, but it didn't work out. But like the comfort of being, with people like that, like it's that part can be real good, like can be real good about it. But like I said, I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not gonna make people believe that I actually do believe when I don't, and I'm gonna like be honest about it. But I also like I absolutely respect people who do, and I don't believe they're lying or they're crazy or anything like that. If you genuinely believe it, there's something different about people who genuinely believe it and the people who are like they use it for other reasons. You know what I mean? Like it's because the demons told me, because you know what I mean. There's like just like a completely different world of people who use it for different reasons. But yeah, that's it. No more, no more, no more, no more religious talk. No more, no, no,
There you go.
no. So how you been, Scott? How was your Sunday, their Saturday night, Sunday? Do you got a mother? Are you celebrate Mother's Day?
So, my mother lives 2,000 miles away, so I wouldn't exactly go see her. But I already did send her something. So, my mom is about like 75, and she's doing this little diet change. Hey, I want to eat less red meat, do something a little more pescatarian, fish or vegetables. And I talk to her once a week, like maybe 3 hours. And every week I talk to her, she complains, oh, I just can't find any good vegetables at the store. She just takes me to all these stores and I can't find anything. So that's what I started doing. Like her birthday is like in October, I think. So I don't know why I said I think. I know it's in October. But yeah,
I
why
do
did I
that. I
say
actually
that?
do that. No, that's a
Yeah, because I
Jehovah's Witness
somehow
thing
doubt
for real.
myself. But lately, I've been going to find her vegetables. Like there was a certain company she loved to buy fruit from, and they just happened to do vegetables. So every couple of months, I send her this little 5-pound crate of this assorted baby vegetables. I don't tell her, I just send it when it comes in, and I'll see it arrives on like a Monday, for example. And she keeps vampire hours. So about Wednesday morning, I'll wake up and there's like a 3 paragraph text that she sent me. So, oh my gosh, I got another box of vegetables and I did this and that with them. She spreads them out on the table and takes a picture of them. Like she's so excited over a box of vegetables. So that's what I sent her for Mother's Day.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I always wonder, like what people do, because like I said, I don't have that, I think the only time I ever celebrated Mother's Day was when I was in a relationship where I thought, like it was going to be more serious, so I was like taking, going to meet the parents and
Ooh,
everything,
the
so
future in-laws. See, that's always stressful, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only time. I think that's the only time I ever did anything for Mother's Day. Oh, and then one time that my coworkers thought, like that I was being a jerk to my mom because I wasn't celebrating it, and so like they all got together and we went to go eat like a dinner, but it was like they're thinking that I was trying to like not trying to. I'm like, hey, she's a Jehovah's Witness. It's not, it has nothing to do with like you guys. I'm not even like I'm not even joking. It's like it's much better for me not to do anything. Like if I did something, she'd get upset. So that's the kind of stuff that like for me is like just like like the JWs they do a little too much. I think the whole thing about Lent and and I'm not shitting on anybody's like I just think like I just like in my mind I think that like there's easier paths to like to do things the right way and to get the get somebody who I guess you see this is where I can't like it's hard for me to put two and two together, and so it logically I shut it down inside myself because I try to make that line that connects me to like okay to that spirituality, but then people talk about these rules that you have to go by, and then like it cuts me off. But it's like it's not like I understand it, like that's the way people see it, but I'm just like 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 I don't know, I don't know. I think the Lent stuff is too much. Like what are the Jews that are what are the oh I knew the word. The ones that will ask somebody else to like do things for them on Sunday because they really like respect the Sabbath. What's that called?
Would this be
Orthodox. It's
Orthodox
Orthodox.
or there you go?
Yeah, Orthodox. Yeah,
And I have to agree,
yeah, yeah.
OTA.
OTA.
Pescatarian sounds like a vegan flautist. Yeah, so I dated a pescatarian for like
Oh,
8 years.
Katie, yes. Katie, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Please get me off of this subject as quickly as possible.
But I dated a pescatarian for like 8 years, so and I was okay with that. I just took on the diet and I didn't mind it. Beef substitutes and like Morning Star and all that stuff was really great. But after he passed away, the first thing I did is I had like a double hamburger.
Come on in, Katie. There she is.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Good
Scotto.
thank
morning.
you for coming.
Is it Scotto? Am I saying
Hello.
it right?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. I don't think I've met you before.
I know, it's lovely to meet you too. Jerry just got me into this. I'm usually one of those lurkers that hangs around in the chat and all that, so Jerry started dragging me up here to talk.
That's good.
I'm exposing your subs, Katie.
It's fine by me.
You see, just so you kind of get an understanding. My channel, I've created it for actually to get to know more of the chat because I am very active in all the chats when it comes to being in the anti-frauditor community.
Yeah.
That's why I tell you, your brother is my tormentor. Like he also is around a lot too.
Yeah.
But it's cool. We're cool and everything. And so when I created this channel, it was like I actually wanted this. I wanted to get people from the chats to come up and talk to me because I'm not afraid to get on panel. I'm not afraid to talk, but I want to get to know the chat even more. Like I want to get to know people even more. So that was kind of like the first inspiration to do this. and I
Awesome.
still stick to it. You know, like yeah, I still like love to have people up that don't normally go up on panel or don't normally, you know, you don't normally hear their voice. You know,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone. I used to do that at the end of my shows, is take calls at the end just to hear what the chat, if they want to. It's hard to have a conversation when they have a limited number of characters and are typing and you're the one speaking. So I would have
Yeah.
call-ins, but then, and that was fine when it was just like my friends watching. But now that I have more people watching, I need to find a way to like put people, like everyone would just call at the same time. Like I set up a Google number and it was hard to manage, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, you have to get one of those what do they call them? The things that put people on hold, like
yeah, I don't know how to do that. I need help. I need tech help with the calls.
I believe before it was like an actual like box, like a soundboard box, like you know, like
Yeah.
that you add it to your phone. But I think you have software now that'll do that.
Yeah,
You
I
can,
need
like, in
somebody
your-
behind the scenes to like screen the calls too. Because one time I had somebody come on and just start saying the N-word over and over
Oh
again.
my
Yeah.
gosh!
Yeah, and then, you know, there's a delay. There's like a, you know, it took a second to dump the call, so I need somebody to screen
Yeah.
the calls.
Yeah, it's like when you're on like a live or something, and then somebody decides that they want to show their stuff, you know, and you're like, oh man, what the hell?
Yeah, luckily, knock on wood, that has not happened to me. Just the N-word.
See,
Oh,
this
yeah,
will be
yeah,
my
well-
luck. As soon as I do some stream, my first guest will come in, and he's gonna be like that guy that went around to all the newscasters, finding live newscasters and jumping on the camera and saying F or right in the P.
Yes, I remember that. It was like a
That-
I'm not
4
gonna lie, I
Right.
found that funny.
I mean, I thought it was
I'm not
kind of
gonna
funny too.
Yeah,
It
I
wasn't
was
like-
cracking up.
It wasn't necessarily funny because of what he was saying. It was funny of how flustered the newscasters would get because they're trying to be all professional and their good posture and their microphone, and you could just see them melt down inside. That was the funny.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. That I believe that would be the funny part, and it's most of the time. That's why I think I like newscast like bloopers, because especially
Yeah.
I think my favorite newscast blooper of all time is the what's his name, O'Reilly, when he's all like, "We'll do it live.
Yeah.
We'll do it live."
Yeah, a lot of people use that as a sounder, like to start their shows off and stuff. F it, we'll do it live. All
Yeah,
right,
so
we'll do it.
Saturday Night Live makes it look so easy for everyone, right?
Yeah, true.
According to some
being-
people, I make it look easy.
Being live is not easy, especially when you're producing at the same time as trying to talk. Like when I first started, it was like I went back and watched some of my streams, and it is unwatchable. Like I'm struggling with the technology and trying to talk at the same time. It was bad. But I got
Well,
better. Like there's no way to do it to get better than just to do it and
Then to
practice.
do it. Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly why I just started doing it, because I kept putting it off because I'm like, I gotta get tick, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna be talking most of the time. I'm a blabber, so I'm just gonna be talking anyway. So
Yeah.
you know what, I'm just gonna start it, regardless of whether I have the tech or not, and I'll let it build from there. You know, besides, if I start off with no tech and it's basic and people can enjoy it like that, once I get it, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's how I started. I started out with a $18 microphone and a laptop. So the only money I spent was on an $18 microphone. And then the only money I've spent on it is money that I've made from doing it. And now I have a desktop with a lot of like RAM, whatever you need to stream. I have 3 screens, a good mic,
Ooh.
you know. So I just keep putting
Do you have-
anything people donate, I put it back into the show. I need a new camera.
Do you
next.
Do you have to feed the rams?
Yeah, yeah, they eat oats and grass.
Well, I'm glad you came up, because I thought I was drowning in that religious talk. Yeah, I do want to talk about Stephen McDaniels, because that actually was the second video I saw. The first videos I saw were actually kind of short, because I think they came from your other show, or the one that you were doing before. I saw a
Oh,
couple of snippets.
well, here's the thing: is most of my stuff is live, so you got to hit the live tab. Like the stuff that's videos, it's either something happened during the live where I had to re-upload it, or it's just like clips from larger shows. So yeah, I know there's some clips on there from when I was doing a dog pile show and stuff like that. You had said, or you had commented on my St. Patrick's video.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was
'cause I
basically
didn't know that.
that was just a panel show, and I just clipped that part because I was talking a lot. So I'm like, I'll clip that part. Yeah.
You did? No, I really did not know that about St. Patrick at all. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea. So that was cool. I was all like, wow, this is cool. I learned something today.
Well,
I do really appreciate that.
it drives me nuts when these holidays come around and people don't even. We have the internet. We have a whole computer in our pocket right now, right? And people don't even care enough to just Google, like, who is St. Valentine's? Who is St. Patrick? Like, you know.
Right.
Why do we celebrate Thanksgiving? Like any of this stuff. So I like to try to. I'm usually tweeting about it, but since I happen to have a show that night, I'm like, I'm gonna just do it live. F it, we'll do it live. I'll write
We'll
it.
do it live.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. And you're right. People don't do that. They usually go on Google to read things that they want to confirm they feel are correct. That's usually what people do on Google.
Confirmation bias. Exactly that. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so Stephen McDaniel, you know, and I saw most of your video on it. I hope that you didn't have any more tech problems like that day, but I don't know what was going on that day for you.
Oh, it was. I don't remember it specifically, but I know if it's uploaded as a video, it means something crashed while I was live.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. It went down. It went down midstream, and I had to start over with a whole new stream, and then I had to piece it together and upload it as one. I think that was that day.
Well, if you edited that seems seamless. The only way I knew that you had a problem is because you said it.
When I say edited, I mean I at the time had a producer. His name was PJ.
Oh, whoa!
And I said, "Hey, PJ, edit this together," and he did, and I uploaded it. I don't edit.
Oh, well, I'm sorry you fired him.
Yeah, well, we just parted ways. Nobody was fired. I wasn't fired. He wasn't. But I might be in the market for an editor. So.
Scotto, you need a job now. Just
Now, see, you notice I did not volunteer.
Hey, Scotto, are you familiar with the Stephen McDaniel case? Laura Giddings was the victim's name. Are you familiar with that one?
I am familiar in name only, but the details kind of escape me.
Yeah. So I got interested in this because I live in Georgia. So this happened like 3 hours from my house. And
oh, right.
Well, the thing is, when I found out about this case, why did all my screens just die? That was weird. Speaking of tech problems, everything's back up. That was very odd. I am a property manager by trade. Like that's my real life job. And I was managing a shopping center in Macon, and I would have to go down there quarterly. Like all of my shopping centers that I manage were all over the Southeast, but one of them was in Macon, like just down the road from where this happened. So I found out about it after it happened, after the court case, all of that. And I like started looking into it because somebody had mentioned that during the police interview, the police officer is asking the guy, is asking Stephen McDaniel about where he buys his groceries and stuff like that. And it happened to be the Kroger that I managed that shopping center. So I'm like, really? There was a killer that shopped here? Which, if you think about it, I bet we've all shopped at places where killers have shopped. There's a lot of people who have killed people out there in the world, but you just don't know about it.
I've definitely been to Home Depot. So, what are the top stores that serial killers usually go to?
Home Depot
would have to be Home Depot and Walmart.
Yeah, it's always Home Depot and Walmart. Yeah, it's never
Lowe's,
Lowe's. I
maybe?
don't know why. It's never Lowe's. Like they have them on camera buying rope and tarps and whatever else, like hacksaw blades to dismember bodies, and it's always Home Depot or Walmart every time.
That
Wow,
happens
if
in
you're a
my
serial
town,
killer, go to the
so-
Home Depot.
Right? Like, oh, by the way, Katie, I was born in Georgia, so I love that. I spent a good 30 part of years growing up around that little spot where like Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee come together.
I love it up there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So it is. It's gorgeous, isn't it? It's just everywhere.
I'm between Marietta and Chattanooga. I'm not doxing my exact location, but I'm North Georgia. So
Nice.
Get to working on the map, people.
yeah.
See, there you
That's
go.
like a 2 hour, like in between Marietta and Chattanooga's got to be like an hour and a half and 2 hours. So there's a long, like there's a lot of stuff up there. So you're not gonna be able to find me.
Yeah. And it's really more like 2.5 if you drove it, right? That traffic
True.
is horrible.
Probably walk there faster, actually.
That's good point. Yeah. But I was telling Jerry yesterday, like the town I come from, I guess the saving grace there is all the criminals are really kind of dumb. Like I've read this in the newspaper at least once every couple of weeks that someone will go rob the local bank
Mhm.
and they get busted because they literally went 2 blocks down the street to Walmart and spent all that money.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh boy.
There's a couple of
I can't believe
cases
somebody
from
did
up
that.
There is one case from up that way. I wish I could remember people's names. I'm so bad with names, but it was like a kid that was visiting, or he was a drug addict, and he was like hanging out with his friends in a trailer and mysteriously died. And his parents, I always see like there's a billboard where these parents are trying to get answers. I need to look into that. Maybe do a little investigation of my own and present that case.
I have
But
not heard about
it
that one.
happened like right up there, like in Georgia, like right in that corner where you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of reminds me of that case. I believe it was in Canada, where some kid was gonna go sell weed to like another kid, and they like live in farms or whatever. So like they had to like go somewhere rural,
Mhm.
and the one kid that was making the deal was like a bully. So he kills the kid that came with the
I
weed,
know.
right?
Yeah, I think that was Ohio actually.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't remember if it was Canada or Ohio. I just that's one of those ones that's just a fleeting one, you know.
Yeah, and I remember that case. He like buried them with a backhoe or something on his farm, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. The name escapes me right now, but it's one of those that's not really too compelling because it's kind of like cut and dry, you know. Like they pretty much knew who it was.
Yeah, caught him right away.
And there was not much of an interrogation either. I think the ones that I remember the most are the ones that have like interrogations, like the Stephen McDaniels, because that interrogation is something else, you know.
Crazy. It's a good. It's. I mean, you don't want to root for the criminal, obviously, but when I was watching that interview, I'm like, this guy's a genius. Like, because you saw the news interview that he did, so he's not just like that. And when he started answering those questions, just like monotone, he didn't move the whole time. He just sat there with his hands on the table like this and said yes, no, or I don't know. And I was thinking it was kind of genius, but it really, when you see the cops getting flustered, it kind of makes me happy a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they're trying so hard to do the read technique. They're trying so hard and nothing's working. And there's one point where the cop just like slams his head down on the table. I'm like, that's amazing.
Well, you see,
Very Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think that the officers see there's a point where I think they're trying to do like a technique, but their execution is just bad. Like all around, it's just bad execution, I believe.
Yeah.
Because it's not so much. I mean, you can make Stephen McDaniels look good in that video, like like in the interrogation, because the officers are just they're just doing the worst, like execution as far as like the read technique is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they were trying to do the whole thing where they're trying to call him like a wimp and everything like that, because they're hoping that they'll start a reaction from him. Like they're thinking like, okay, this guy obviously he's a guy who wants power, who like he felt he dominated over Laura. That's why he did this, So let's push him like his bullies, and then we'll see the real Steven come out. You know, like the killer. You know what I mean? We'll see him. We'll see the guy that attacked Lauren.
Yeah,
But they were just like really bad on the execution. Like they were terrible.
for sure.
And yeah, like you said, I'm not rooting for Steven. You know, I'm glad he got caught and everything. You know, it's just yeah. That and it you know, the other thing too that I'll give credit to Steven is the whole, you know, like staying in character and then doing that little like, you know, like not running away from the cop getting close to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think the whole lawyer thing came into play. You know, because he didn't back down. He didn't. It actually is kind of scary when you see it. You know, because I remember the first time I saw it. I think I was watching that like at 2 a.m. or something like that. I think I just came back from work.
Yeah.
And I had the JCS video. I don't know if you follow JCS.
Of course. Who doesn't? Like he's got millions.
Yeah, I know.
He puts out a video every 6 months and he has millions of subscribers. So yeah.
You're right. I'm an asshole. I'm gonna leave. JCS, I'm sorry. It's your stream now, Katie.
Yeah. Well, I saw it on JC. I'd seen it before. Oh, I remember where I first saw it. Do you follow True Crime Loser? He basically just talks, but he tells all about that. I think that's when I first heard about Steven McDaniel, was on True Crime Loser. And then I love
True Crime Loser.
Like after it, because he just talks about it. He doesn't actually show the videos. So after I heard him talking, he did like an 8-part series or something on it. And I'm like, well, now I have to watch the video. Like I have to watch the interrogation. And I think that's when I actually found JCS. So that was a while. That was a couple of years ago. I'm trying.
What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah. I'm trying to see which video did the video that you saw of mine, was it the one, because I did 2. I did one where I reacted to the interrogation, and then I did one where I told the whole story. Or was
I saw the story. Okay. I saw the story.
I think I deleted the reaction one. Yeah.
It was you know what? I was
Jerry. It's almost like, oh, tell me a story.
Yeah.
No, the thing is that like I went in because the first 3 videos that I saw, I think the first 4 videos that I saw were like short.
Yeah.
And so I went into the next video not knowing that it was a live. So I'm like listening to it, right? And I'm like, did I skip a video, or is this continuing? And you know what I mean? Because I'm like, this is like past the runtime from the last other videos. It's like I'm 20 minutes in. What's going on here? And I go look. I'm like, oh, it's alive. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Vestige of Peace is asking me to do like the TLDR of this case, because some people in the chat are not familiar. So I'm going to do a real quick recap of what happened in this case. Okay, so Steven McDaniel and Laura Giddings were law students at Mercer University, which is in Macon, Georgia. And they're just graduated law school, but they haven't taken their bar exam yet. So it's like the time in between graduation and taking the bar where everyone's just studying like crazy. So it wasn't unusual for people to go offline or be incognito for a while because they're studying to take the bar exam. So Steven McDaniel, the whole time they're in law school, is just obsessed with his next door neighbor, Laura. And it's off-campus housing, but it's apartments. And his is like right next door to hers. So he's watching her come and go. He's like basically stalking her without like following her. But they have classes together and all this other stuff. Well, it gets to the point where school's over, everybody's about to move out. And he ends up... he had a master key to the apartment complex for some reason. I'm not sure how he got that, but it's not hard to do. You know, it's not hard to get. If you're in as a property manager, I know I probably hand out my keys for people to use way too much. So it's pretty easy to get a copy if you really wanted to. You have to be a bad person, but like handing it out to vendors or whatever to do work. So he's going into her apartment all the time and just like snooping around, probably stealing her underwear. I'm not sure what he was doing in there. But the night of the crime, she's asleep and he goes into her apartment and just basically strangles her to death on her bed, drags her into the bathroom, dismembers her with a hacksaw. So not even power tools, like with a hand hacksaw, which is a lot. It's a lot. He did a lot. wraps her up into garbage bags, puts her out with the trash. Now, nobody notices she's not around for a few days. So he's thinking he's off scot-free because, obviously the trash gets picked up. She's gone. She's in a landfill somewhere. I don't know if y'all are familiar with landfills, but whenever a body is in a landfill, it's almost impossible to find once it's in there, just because so much trash is getting dumped on top, and there's all sorts of rotting stuff in there.
Yeah.
So it's hard for the dogs to find. Turns out,
And they keep packing it in.
yeah, they keep packing it in, and it stinks, so the dogs have trouble finding the body. But what happened in this case is her friends go over there to look for her, and he notices her friends go over there to find the key that she has hidden on her balcony or whatever, to go in to check on her because they hadn't heard from her in 3 or 4 days. And he says, "Oh, are you guys looking for Lauren?" and follows them into her apartment. So this is genius, because now if his DNA is in her apartment, well, yeah, of course it is. He went in there to help find her when her friends came over looking for her. And of course, everybody kind of knew each other because they're all students. They're all law students. They're all in the same class. So it's not like he was a stranger just following them in. He was a classmate who was her neighbor. So, like I said, you don't want to cheer for the criminals, but little stuff like that, it's like, I'm wondering if that was accidental or if he actually did that on purpose. Like if he followed, because of DNA or whatever, followed them and helped the hunt for her, so his DNA was there.
Well, you would have to believe that he did do that on purpose.
Yeah.
I will say I would give the example of Ted Bundy. Because you know how Ted Bundy was in those I believe it was like in a Crime Stopper type of a group, right?
Yeah,
he got a bunch of he got a bunch of tips about like the people that he killed and stuff like that, and how to stay one step ahead of the cops. So I could imagine someone like Stephen McDaniels doing that. So I do believe that there was some forethought to that. And then if you the story too, she was about to leave. Like she was like 1 day from leaving the apartment, right?
Yeah, she was supposed to move the next day or 2 days later or something. Well, from the time she got killed, it was like 4 or 5 days later, but from the time they realized she was missing, not returning calls. And keep in mind, family and friends were reaching out to her, and all of them just assumed somebody else had talked to her and assumed she wasn't calling them back or texting them back because she's studying for the bar exam. So, check on your people. Like if they don't call you back, be like, hey, just send me a text to tell me you're okay. Don't assume somebody else has done it.
Right.
Okay. So day of the murder, there's a video of him. He straps his phone or his camera onto a broomstick, like with duct tape, and goes up to her window and is looking in her windows with and it's posted online. I don't think he posted it online, but after the trial, obviously everything. But it's like the creepiest video I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Anyway, so he wraps her up dismembers her, wraps different parts of her bodies up in different trash cans, puts it into different trash cans. Well, her torso was in the trash can that's right next to their apartment, like their apartment trash can. It's the biggest piece. The other ones he scattered in different dumpsters across the city. The friends report her missing and the cops come in. It happens to be trash day that day, but the cops come in to investigate and block the dumpster so the trash is not able to be picked up.
Did Kitty freeze?
I'm frozen? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Am I frozen?
No, I see you.
Okay.
Rolling your eyes at us.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. My tech issues have been an ongoing thing since I started doing this.
I blame it on Stephen McDaniels.
Yeah, it's totally his fault. But yeah, so it was so close to him not getting caught that the trash truck came by, but couldn't get to the dumpsters to empty them because the cops were blocking they were in the way. And if you know anything about Waste Management or any of these other companies, if it's blocked, they're not waiting around getting people to move their cars. They're like, they send you an email saying, sorry, we couldn't pick up your trash, and move on with their day. And they ended up finding her torso, and that's when they bring him back in for questioning. But in the meantime, they interviewed, the news cameras were there because there's a missing, college student or law student interviewing. You know how they just find people who knew her and interview? He does this news interview. It's insane. And this is the compelling part of this case. He finds out that they found the body live on air on like the 6 o'clock news. And it's crazy to watch. I can pull it up if you want. If you want, I can share my screen and show it.
Please. I cannot describe it better. Well, you have to see it. And you brought up a really good point in your video as to having the context of knowing that he's the killer and not knowing that he's the killer.
It could go either way. The way he reacts to it, it's like, is he this upset? Does he freak out because he's her friend and he finds out that she's dead and not just missing anymore? Or is it, but we know he's the killer now. There's he's convicted of it. There was all sorts of evidence. They found the hacksaw. He definitely did it. Let's see, news interview.
Yeah, but that sequence there, I remember because at first when I saw it with JCS, I was kind of skewed by his commentary, so I didn't really look at it that way.
Yeah.
It was only when I saw the interview by itself that I started thinking to myself, hey, you know what? He kind of played it up like if he was really close to her, At least I would think if that's what he was going for. But you could also think that them finding the torso was not in his plans. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine that he's like having a meltdown because he's like, oh no, like my carefully constructed scheme that I did is falling apart. It's just so like 50-50 on that. Like you brought up a great point on that because I thought exactly the same thing, but like when you said it, I was all like, yes, that's exactly it. And that's the thing about him throughout the whole process. Before the cops know that he's the killer, mm-hmm. he's like talking to them like a regular student, like a regular person, right? He's the helpful guy that wants to find his friend or whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
The minute they have suspicions of him, he's all like, I don't know.
Yeah. I have it queued up if you want to play it. And while it's playing, I'm going to run and refill my water. But it's all 3 interviews and it's 12 minutes long. So we can pause it and talk about it or whatever.
Okay. Oh, no sound? We got no sound.
You can't hear it?
No, can you guys hear it? Because sometimes I have that problem where I can't hear it, but everybody else can.
I shared audio, so let me know in the chat. There's a button you have to click to share audio. Here, let me redo it. I'll redo it and then share screen.
What?
Entire screen, share audio. Oh, maybe I didn't share audio. It might have been me.
Oh, I'm as deaf as a post when people ask me if I heard it or not. I'm not the best judge.
Try it again. I think I fixed it.
No one's heard from her since.
Yeah,
there we go.
We're hanging out with
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're nice and loud now.
Is it too loud? Do you want me to turn down?
It got me in the earphones, so I don't know about everybody else.
No one has seen.
There we go.
Since Saturday, I haven't seen anything. You always hear noise outside, but it's just people walking by, pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer.
Yeah, she and I we were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had? Somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but I mean, she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. I mean, the door was locked when everyone got here. I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body?
Had you heard? Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
It's the first clip
Wow.
of video
Busted.
did with Stephen McDaniel last Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
a week ago. To you, did he seem genuinely upset with the fact that the body had been discovered?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his expression, as you see in the beginning of the interview, he's very forthcoming with information. You know, he's calm. At this point, he only thinks that she's missing. So I guess he's, just offering information, anything that he can do to help. And then as soon as I mentioned the body, which I
Anything to throw him off the path.
everyone had been out there since
Mhm.
10 a.m. It had been all over the news, all over the web. And I guess he had been pulled in for questioning, and police, I don't know what police have told him. Police had told him at that time. So I guess no one had informed him that a body was recovered.
All right. This second video, what will we see?
Okay, so the second video is he actually gets pulled into the AT&T building next door. One of the employees brought him in, I guess, to just relax for a couple minutes after he found out about the news. And then he comes back out maybe 20 minutes later, and I asked him if he was okay, and he came up to me and began talking again. So at this point, our camera started rolling again, and he seemed receptive to it. He was not, he was
Did I
not
miss the
upset,
part where
saying
he's
he didn't
like,
wanna talk,
"Body?
so he just started
Body?"
talking again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
his ocean
crazy.
face.
Focus on last
Craziest
Thursday,
part.
guys.
You've been studying for the
You
bar?
know,
No one had seen her since Saturday because we all just, there's not a whole lot of interaction unless we're doing classes.
Right.
And she was doing the online version of it.
You all
so-
studied together, though?
We were in, there's two different people there's two companies that provide it. Kaplan provides it and Barbary provides it. I signed up with Barbary and I've been doing the lectures that they have in the mornings. She was doing the Kaplan online, so I hardly ever saw her. I would see her go out running, but
What time would you go out running?
I don't even know when.
Was it at night or morning?
I saw her midday a couple weeks ago. That was the last time I saw her, was coming back from the bar prep on the main campus because we got moved over there for a week or two.
But she normally would run. That was the
Yeah,
routine that she had.
She ran all the time. She had a group that she would go running with.
yeah, you know it all.
I don't know anyone that would want to hurt her. She was as nice a person as there is.
No tears, by the way. Fake crying right
Was she
here.
moving soon? Did you know anything about her?
Yeah. She was going to be moving out today. She was supposed to move out today because someone else was going to be moving into her
You know,
apartment in New Boston.
hindsight is always 2020, right? Hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
But one thing that did, that did get me about this interview is it wasn't so much the crocodile tears, but all the information was the thing that brought up a red flag to me because, I've had neighbors, I've had people that have lived close to me where I'm interested in them, I like to talk to them or whatever.
Hmm.
But even the my neighbors that I talk to and get along with very well, I don't know stuff that detailed, like that. For me, that would be a red flag.
Especially if you've only they're just in school. Law school's 3 years. So even if they lived next to each other the whole time, which they did not, they've only been neighbors for I think a year. I did this case like a couple of months ago, so I'm trying to remember all the facts in my head. But I have neighbors that I'm very close to. But I live in a neighborhood and there's a couple next door but we hang out. We're friends too. So on a Saturday night, they have a pool table in their basement. We'll go over there and hang out and talk and stuff. But that's not the relationship that he had with this woman at all. They did not hang out. And this because during the interview, the cops ask him, how many times have you been in Lauren's apartment? And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, well, was it a lot or a little? And he's like, maybe twice. One time he went over there to help her fix her computer. And then the other time was when they were looking for her. So he's not close friends with this person, which him knowing all this information is definitely a red flag at that point. Like if you ask me how many times I've been to my next door neighbor's house, I'd say I don't know because it's hundreds of times. We've lived here since 2008, you know? So hundreds and hundreds of times I've been over there hanging out, having a beer, playing pool, you know, that sort of stuff. Visiting, we're friends. I even if I didn't live next door to them at this point, we'd still probably hang out from time to time, you know?
Right. And that's exactly what I mean is that like I said, people that I have had good relationships with that have been my neighbors, it's like, I know about them, but I still don't like, I still wouldn't be able to tell the cops like, oh, every Saturday my neighbor goes to like, goes on a jog or, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is like, okay, if I did see him, if I did see like my neighbor one morning that I got up and I'd be like, hey, what do you do in the morning? Like I get up every morning to take a jog. Oh, okay. I still want to remember that.
Well, that's the thing too. Like there's one guy I see walking in my neighborhood every morning when I'm leaving for work. So I know that this guy walks his dog at around 7:30 every morning. I don't know anything else about this man. I just know that I see him when I'm leaving and we wave to each other and that's it. So, you know.
Well, good thing that he waves back.
Yeah, it's Georgia. I mean, Scotto knows you lived in Georgia. It's not like California. People wait. Like when I first moved here from Chicago, I was so taken aback by people just smiling and waving at me. I'm like, I don't know them. What do they want? Like, what do they want from me? But it's totally normal here, you know.
Exactly.
Well,
So I lived around Tennessee and Georgia for about 30 years, then moved out to California. So I've been here about 20. I had a partner at the time, born and raised, lived his whole life in California. And so I have to go back for a family event. I think my sister was getting married, so he wants to come along. And it was the same thing. He was taken aback at like people, like strangers in the grocery store. Hey, how you doing? You have a good day? And he's like, what is all this about?
Yeah. It's different in California. The company that I worked for, actually, that I had to travel to Macon to a lot, was based out of California. I'm with a different company now. So I would have to go to California twice a year, to Los Angeles twice a year. And it's just totally different out there. It's like nobody cares. Like I felt more invisible with more people around me in Los Angeles than I do here in my neighborhood, in a very small town. Like everybody knows each other. We wave and smile. We talk to each other. We ask how your kids are doing, stuff like that, you know? So.
Absolutely. No, I get it. That you that's the way Mexico is. It's like when you're over here, it's like, oh yeah, like everybody's like so like put off, and if you do say hi to somebody, like it's only because you're walking in through the same door or something. But in Mexico, it's exactly like the South is over there with you guys. It's like when you go over there, when you first go over there to like, I'm talking about like Jalisco, like the more not TJ. TJ is basically California, hardcore side,
Yeah.
but if you go deeper into Mexico, it's like everybody in those towns are like hello, like good morning, you're just like good morning, hello, good morning, hello, good morning, because you feel weird if you don't respond, and if you don't, you will hear it. You will hear about it. If you missed a hello, you will hear about it.
That's what I feel like that in Hezekiah's chat in the morning. Everybody says good morning to me, and I have to do I can't type everybody's name out. So I'm like, just everybody who said good morning to me or hello to me, hello to you as well. Like I can't do it. I can't do it all.
I feel your pain. I absolutely feel your pain on that.
It's so nice. It's like I felt so welcomed when I first went into that chat. I felt so welcomed, and I love everybody in there. But I'm listening while I'm driving to work, so I can't be chatting and driving. Hey, I wanted to point out, I see all the nice things you guys are saying about me in the chat, and I just want to say thank you.
Yes, we are. We're better than you are.
I've been doing it subtly, like highlighting them as I can.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like. I also, and I'm with Greg Jonick. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm with him. I love the order. Like I like the order of having somebody who could like do the screen, and we're cool. We're over here talking, you know, and we get to talk. I'm really all about that kind of structure, you know. And even if I get into like my comedy bits and stuff like that, I still like to be very structured, you know. So I'm with him. I like it when you're here because it's like it puts everybody into place. It's fun. Well, for me, it's fun. I don't know about
Well, once you get your computer set up and if you need tips on producing, I started off so rough and it just takes practice, but I can help you. I can tell you which buttons you need to click. So I can say that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely will ask you for tips.
Yeah. Hey, anybody who's here that's not subscribed to me, could you please do that? I would appreciate it. I'm going live at 4:00 today. I don't know. I recognize a lot of the names in here. But I'm trying to grow my channel and I've been doing this a year and I just got over 1,000 and it really upsets me when I see frauditors who have like 2 or 3 times as many subscribers as I do. It makes me sad.
Well,
I will say on
feel
that
you.
note, so a lot of us around here, we will talk about that. There are plenty of these frauditors that flat out purchase their subscribers. So it's a lot of us. I mean, I personally will dismiss that number when it comes to frauditors.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's
And that's-
obviously people watching their lives and stuff. You know, I get like 10 people watching my lives. That's it. So I need people to watch my
Well,
lives.
right now, I'm averaging 7, and I've peaked out at 14. So don't feel too bad about it. But you know, like the way I see it, because I've been following frauditors, you know, just as long as I've been following the anti-frauditors and stuff. And the thing that I noticed, and this is something that they won't say, they're not going to talk about it,
Mhm.
but a lot of their subs come from clickbaity titles that you know are pushing along the lines of political things that are happening at the moment, and so people will go on there, and especially because the attitude right now and everything shifted towards you know people being so against cops, you know.
Mhm.
So it's when you're say or somebody who's not really into those videos but see something that's like, oh, this cop violated my rights. They go in there, they only see part of the video. They're like, yeah, that's exactly what cops do. Okay, subscribe, you know, like to give this guy a support, right? But they never see another video again. It's just like,
true.
the
only video that I had kind of blow up was when, what's that parade guy's name? The guy,
Brooks?
Yes. I did a Daryl Brooks video and I would have never been able to get monetized. I'm not monetized now, by the way. YouTube keeps demonetizing me, but you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time in order to be monetized. And I did a Daryl Brooks video when Daryl Brooks was like the thing, like was happening. And I got 50,000 views on that video. Of course, it was before it was monetized, so I didn't make a dime from it. But I wouldn't have never been able to get those 4,000 hours without that happening, you know. So and a lot of people subscribed to, and I don't think they've been back. So I guess I kind of did the same thing, you know.
Yeah, well, it's bound to happen. I mean, even some of our favorite content creators, they don't like the ones that have like 15,000, 20. I mean, Skeptic at 90, he's almost gonna hit 100.
Yeah,
you know, but you know, like I don't think he gets like 100. I don't think 100,000 subs are visiting his page. You know, it's probably half that. You know.
Yeah.
And then you gotta imagine there's a lot of people who want to give you extra support.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm sure there's a couple of sock accounts. You know, I'm not saying you know, like, you know, I'm not gonna out myself here, but you know, sock accounts sometimes help a little bit.
When I was close to going over 1,000, I said on air to every single person that was watching, I'm like, make another account and subscribe now. I was so close to getting 1,000. I'm like, please make 2 or 3 accounts and subscribe with all of them.
That's awesome.
All right, let's
Did
continue
it work?
this.
I have to ask.
Yeah. Let's continue this because I am streaming at 4, so I got another 20 minutes on here, and I'm going to have to start setting up my stream. By the way, everybody who just subscribed, thank you very much. Today, I'm talking about Colton Harris Moore, which is a guy who was a teenager and did a bunch of shenanigans and stole an airplane and went to the Bahamas. It's a great story. So if you like good stories, see me on my channel at 4. All right, let's get back to Steve.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. I'm excited to have new people in my chat.
Oh, get ready for the sarcasm.
Where's she from?
Uh,
Maryland?
yeah, she's from up in
Put
Maryland.
this on you so we can hear you. Is that all right?
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Here, and you can just hold on here. Thank you. Yeah, she's from Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, she was from up in Maryland. I mean, all her family was there, as far as I know. I mean, she.
What's going on in your mind right now? Like, what are you thinking?
Why would anyone do this?
Didn't hear anything.
No.
You're supposed to put a piece of onion in your eye, and that's what will produce the tears, you know?
That to me is one of the funniest lines. Why would anybody do this? I can't. Every single time I hear it, it's like, come on, Steven. Really? Like, you're gonna do that one? Why would anybody? I just can't. I can't. But then again, the interrogation is even worse. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Do you watch The Simpsons, Katie? I'm pretty sure you watch The Simpsons, right? Are you talking?
I think you're on mute.
Sorry, see the tech stuff. I'm blonde. It happens. I used to watch The Simpsons a lot, but I haven't had regular TV in years now, so I haven't seen it in a while. Like, I don't have
an old
a subscription or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't watch the new Simpsons. I'm just talking about like the older ones. I don't know if you remember this episode where Mr. Burns they show him go through like a routine that he has to go through because he's so old.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes out looking like an alien, and he's real like gentle supposedly when he comes out, and so he's all like talking like I love you and stuff like that. And I
do
swear
remember that, yeah.
I swear that's Stephen McDaniels when they're interviewing him the second time. Like he went through that whole process and came out like Mr. Burns.
Yeah. Yeah, and keep in mind the person interviewing him has no idea that he's the killer right now. They find out after the fact.
Ooh, you have that reaction?
Yeah, I just heard something. Maybe I could have helped it.
Okay, don't worry. Do you want to sit down for a second? Get something to drink?
Do you know if a bunch of her friends are getting together or anything?
I mean, that's how I found out that she was missing. A bunch of her friends came over yesterday night around midnight, and they hadn't seen her since Saturday, so they were trying to find out where she was.
So they were knocking on neighbors' doors and stuff?
They went in, they had a key to her apartment, and they checked around, didn't see anything out of place. I mean, it was locked when everyone got there.
That was midnight?
Yeah, around midnight, and then we went over to law school, see if maybe she was over in the library studying or something. And we looked up in the study rooms on the third floor, and there was no one there. And we came back, we looked around, and just trying to find anything to figure out where she was.
She doesn't have any family in Georgia?
I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, all of her family is from in Maryland.
Have you met her family before?
There was one time that I met them. They came down first year. She had a little dog, a little brown dog, that she would exercise out in front of the law school, and it got hit as she was coming across the road. I heard the car hit it and ran out, and she was there crying, and thankfully there was someone who came along who knew a vet or something, and they helped that, and her family came down I think a couple weeks after that or something. I met them just briefly.
Right.
But we've been trying to figure out. She has a boyfriend up in Atlanta. But
listen to him trying to pass the blame right now. Oh, she's got this person and a boyfriend in Atlanta. Like, come on.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I thought when I first heard him saying that. I'm all like, yeah, good, yeah, no.
Anybody but me. Look at anybody but me.
Someone called.
If you guys start talking or whatever, I'll pause it. Just like if you want to comment.
Oh no, yeah, no, I'm good right now. Like I know Vestige of Peace was asking to to like get more details on it. And I know how important it is to get the context of these videos. You know, like once you
Yeah.
see them, be like, and then you see the interview. It's like it's a good appreciation to get a good, you know, like just go through it, just see it, you know.
Yeah, you got to see it. This guy, you got to see this guy. The troll hair, the whole squeaky voice. You just got to see it. It's
I was
difficult
just
to put into
thinking of the
words.
hair. Because I look at the hair and I'm like, wow, you know, one of these days, heaven forbid, if I ever get in some legal trouble, boy, I want to find a lawyer with hair like that. But nobody ever.
Yeah. 4 p.m. Eastern. But it stays up too, so you could watch it. Just make sure when you go to my channel, I got to hit the little tab that says live because that's where most of my content is. What was I going to say? I don't remember. All right, I'm going to play it.
Her called him, and he hadn't heard from her. No one could figure out where she was.
Who was the last person to be with her? You said that somebody had seen her on Saturday?
Yeah, she went over to a couple friends' house, Gary Mueller and Joe Cairns. They live over on Walnut, and they said that she was over there in the morning, and then that was the last time that anyone we've been able to find out from had seen her.
She hadn't mentioned what she was going to do that day or anything.
Joe, he got onto her computer last night to see if she had said anything. She'd sent an email out to some people that afternoon talking about like going out to eat or something. And the last thing that there was an email that she sent out after 10 that night where she sent to, I think it was someone in Atlanta, a friend of hers in Atlanta, and she said that she was afraid in her apartment that she thought someone had tried to break in on Thursday night, and she was afraid to stay in there. But
Where did you hear that from? From Joe?
he pulled it up and we read it off the screen.
She had said that to a friend in Atlanta?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but
And you hadn't heard anything on Thursday night?
No.
She never came to you to tell you anything?
no, if she had, I could have done something. I could have lent her a handgun. I've got a little handgun that I have for defense, and
She could have slept over or something.
yeah, something. If she was afraid in her apartment, then get her out of there.
Is
They
that
tried
her-
to break in on Thursday.
That's what she said in the email. She thought that someone had tried to break into her apartment. She said, like, Macon hoodlums tried to break into my apartment on Thursday night.
Is that her car parked there? The Chevy?
No,
Small car?
no. I think that's the detective's car,
So
Detective
her car's not
Patterson.
even there?
No, it was here earlier, and they towed it. It'd been there for days, and then they towed it to, I guess, look through, see if there was.
With the police.
Yeah.
How did you find out that something was wrong with the police here? Was it like when you walked up a little while ago? Or?
No, the police were called last night, and they came and they looked around. And they didn't see anything. They went in. We looked around the place. No sign of a struggle. No sign that anyone had broken in. Just nothing. Just she was gone. All of her stuff was there. Her ID was there. Her wallet was there. But
We've got a third piece of video here. Let's do that. And after that, we'll take the break and we'll come back and we want to talk to you about some of this and you can fill in some of the gaps now. All right, so
Okay.
guys, part 3 of the interview Michelle did with Stephen McDaniel from a week ago.
I'm so glad this local news station released all of these because this is like usually they do these interviews and they just cut it up and have like, a 20-second whatever out of all of the interview. They released the whole thing from start to finish, and I'm so glad they did.
Right? It's kind of telling. I mean, at one
Mhm.
point I thought that he kind of comes across as someone not really brilliant, but maybe an elevated IQ because of the way he carried everything out. But
Yeah.
then I watch the interviews and I feel like he totally bungles them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, yeah.
This
Jerry,
is
where
not
you at?
him.
It's
This
the
is not me.
quietest I've ever heard you.
Yeah. This is the news station messed up the audio, not
I
me.
hear it.
And then this morning they knocked on my door. They were looking around trying to find anything. and a few of the other friends, Burpee, Burpee and Garen and Ashley, they were here. They were here last night, and they'd come back this morning. I just went out and talked with them, and then they moved us all over to the side, and they bussed us all down to the department and kept us there until I got back just a little while ago. And, yeah, they took statements trying to find out if anyone had seen anything, if anyone had heard anything when the last time anyone saw it was.
Now, they haven't confirmed, at least not with us, that it was Lorna that they found. Are you holding out any hope right now?
I hope, but if they found it on the property somewhere.
No, I think so. You hadn't heard anything about a body until you were talking to us earlier?
No. No, as far as any of us knew, they were still trying to just find her. I mean, we got an email this morning from some people that live on the other side of Kroger, on the other side of the river, that they had
That's the
seen her in the
Kroger.
past running
I
in
managed.
that area. We thought maybe someone had snatched her over there, or maybe she got hurt or something.
Katie's like, shout out Kroger.
Oh
You
man.
can get a good Google review.
Huh?
Leave a good Google review for the Kroger.
Yeah. I didn't work
You-
for Kroger. I worked for a property management company, but still,
It was your Kroger.
it was my Kroger. Yeah, exactly.
You guys will excuse me if my sound gets a little bit crazy right now because my mic, I
Yeah,
completely
long
forgot
time.
that it wasn't charged. So I'm working without my regular mic. I'm using the mic on my device. So if I get echo or anything like that, I apologize ahead of time.
Yeah.
I would say you sound perfectly fine right now.
Yeah, it sounds fine to me.
Okay, let's cross our fingers.
So I need to jump because I have to set up my stream and I meet up with my guest that's going to be on today in an hour from now.
Good.
So
Katie, thank you. No, you're fine. Thank you so much for stopping by. This was fun. It's always, I absolutely love, having these conversations about, like the true crime. So I got to set aside a day where we could just talk about nothing but true crime,
yeah,
So I'll talk to you more about it. We'll touch base about it. But I absolutely love having these conversations. And I think you're perfect for walking people through in the stories.
yeah. Well, if anybody wants the whole story, I did like an hour and a half or 2 hour episode just about the Stephen McDaniel case, where I show up all the documents and the whole thing. So head over to my channel, hit that. I think this one is actually in the videos because it's the one that I had tech issues with. But yeah, go watch that. It lays everything out for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. My chat appreciates it, and stop by anytime you want. I swear you're welcome anytime you want to come on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in my chat in an hour and a half.
There we
It was
go.
awesome to meet you, Katie.
Nice to
Have a
meet
great
you,
day.
too, Scotto. Bye.
Bye-bye. And then she walked out of our lives.
Jay, when you had a microphone moment there, I was almost going to say this is 3 for 3 because I was going to count it as, oh, he left me again,
No, man. I really appreciate people like Katie, like K-Far, everybody with K's in their name.
That does seem to be the trend lately, doesn't it?
No, it's because there's people like them who are like really cool about it. K-Far has come to my stream many times, even when there's only like one person here, and he is not. He's not putting on an act or trying to be cool for coolness sake. You know what I mean? He comes in and he's himself. Regardless of how many people are in the chat or not. And he's just here, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, he's like real people, and this little punk. I think he's probably half my age, a little punk. But for his age, he just has so much experience about things. So he just like he can talk about any old thing. And a little conspiracy theory. I personally think he must have a clone or two because I don't know how he is up at all these odd hours and he pops into a chat here or there and somehow has time to make a video and then also time to go live over here. I'm like, how the hell do you do all this? Plus, he has what, 4 kids, so he's got all this stuff in a personal life. So I'm like, how do you do all this in a single day?
Well, I've told this I've told this him plenty of times. He reminds me of a friend of mine. A friend of mine that I don't necessarily talk to as much as I used to. We used to well, basically, like he was my best friend. We used to hang out and know him since childhood. He's exactly like him. Where the minute he had kids, like the minute he had like a kid, right? He completely changed in the sense that he was no longer like, okay, my life is about partying and stuff, He kind of just like he made his life revolve around his kids, which is a good thing, right? And like all the time, like the little time that he had for himself, like the little personal time, he found ways of doing it, like it was weird because sometimes he would tell me like, hey man, like I finally got some time to play some Call of Duty, right? And I'll be like, oh cool, like join us or whatever. So like, yeah, I'm gonna be joining you like at 2 a.m. I'm like, what? But that's how he did it. He's like, you know what? I only need to sleep like 2 hours. He would like sleep 2 hours, and then like say on a Sunday or like a Saturday, he'll sleep like a 12-hour day. When like the kids they would go like to like a family function or something, and he could just stay at home and just sleep. But it's crazy because he would every single second of a 24-hour clock he would take it to do something, and he was very productive in that manner. That's why he became like a super manager at some what do you call it, pasteurizing facility or whatever. And that's after that I can't really talk to him too much. We still touch base every once in a while, but I tell K4 that he's exactly like that friend, my best friend, that guy. I would say if they met each other, they'd probably like get along really well because they're like almost exactly the same person.
Mm-hmm. But I used to be like him when I was in my 20s. Like I would be, do have 20-hour days, but now I'm just over 50, so I can't do that anymore. I know my limit.
I can still like I can go with only having like 4 hours of sleep every day. Like if I get a good 4 hours, like uninterrupted 4 hours, I'm okay. Like I don't really need that much sleep, but I will if I am doing like a lot of work, like where I'm actually like doing work, like a lot of work with my hands and stuff like that. I will need like 8 hours and that recovery time, because if I don't get it, oh man, I'll be passing out. My body's one of those that like, if I'm tired, I'm tired, and you can't keep me from falling asleep. I'll go to sleep on you. Like I've done the worst thing ever, and I hope nobody ever does this, but I've fallen asleep in a movie theater watching a new movie. Like that's the worst.
It does the same to me. It's the whole being in a dark room, because sometimes, for instance, if it's a really super stormy, overcast day, I'm used to having like sunlight come in the room and it's bright in the day and it kind of wakes me up and gets me going and keeps me going through the day. And on those really dark days, I find I want to take a nap at like 2 p.m. or something.
Oh, I'm actually opposite. On really hot days, like on really sunny days, that's when I'm more sleepy. But I think it has to do with like going into like, because I don't know how it is in the Bay, because I probably only visited over there like probably twice, but over here, like when it's really really hot, every single facility, anything that has a roof is gonna be running an AC, So when you're outside, it's like hot, like you're dying, and so you go into any building, and it's like under like 60 degrees, and it feels awesome, right? But that's the thing, is that like if you're out in the heat and then you come into this like these cold areas, it's like, oh, you feel real good. And so anytime I would go to watch a movie in the summertime, like I guaranteed at least one movie I'll fall asleep on. Like but it also depended on the movie too, because sometimes it had to do with me being excited for the movie or not. You know, like if I'm not excited for the movie and I just go see it, then I'll probably end up falling asleep in it anyways.
I would take friends to movies. So when I stream at home now because I'm just as comfortable. And to be honest, there's captions and I can understand it. But when I went to the movie theaters, at the time, my big thing was I was into the horror genre, right? And I still watch them at home. But I would invite a couple of friends. Hey, I'm gonna go check out this latest horror movie that came out. Oh, hey, let's go see it. So I'll watch the whole thing, and they will look over at me, and I basically have this poker face. Nothing really bothers me, but they're all just grossed out by the gore. And afterwards, they're like, "How can you just sit through that so emotionless?" I'm like, "Well, I like it. Just, doesn't bother me. Sorry." But those are the ones that I'll tend to stay awake for. Is like the horror movies or something that has super tons of action in it. That there's not a dull moment.
When something is interesting to you, it's interesting to you. It just is. There are some things that I've had my girlfriend and she's like I can't watch this, and I'm like watching a documentary on like an Egyptian dig or something. You know what I mean? I'm just like deep into it. She's just like, I'm gonna go watch some Jerry Springer or something. Like, okay.
Hey, when I used to have cable, I I actually paid extra for like the Jerry Springer After Dark channel. They were just because it was literally my trash TV something to laugh at. It was they were so dumb that they were funny. So that's what I would do every night. I would come home and make some dinner and watch Jerry Springer After Dark.
Oh my God. Well, Rest in Peace. I'm with you. I've done that too, where I've been playing a video game and I pass out because I'm so tired. But I want to play, I want to play a video game, and so I just like for whatever reason, I'm playing and I feel like I'm into it, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'll knock out. And it's the worst because you're knocked out, like you're asleep, and you're like, and I usually play with other people. So you could they would be telling me like wake up, Jerry, wake up, Jerry, wake up. What the hell, man?
I would sometimes, let's say during a night that I would not get very much sleep. So the next day for work, I'm kind of drowsy. And for work, I basically am a computer nerd. I sit in front of a keyboard all day. So one day I'm working on this thing. I'm working on, somebody asked this question about how many of these records do something, look like this. So I'm writing out this really long SQL statement for it, and I have to go to this large file. So it takes a little bit. While it's running, I nod off at that keyboard, and I wake up, and there's literally just a screen that just says the answer on it, like 22. And I'm like, okay, it's 22, but it's 22 what? Because I forgot the question. Well, so I exit out of the screen and go back and look at my code. I'm like, okay, so I'm looking for this. Damn it, I forgot the answer, so I had to run the thing again and make a point to not nod off again so I could remember the question and the answer at the same time.
Oh, I feel your pain on that one.
Yeah, it was a tough day.
Oh no, and there's been other one of my one of the most the one that I remember the most that I was most embarrassed of was one time that I went to go take care of a traffic ticket, but I had just finished working a 12-hour shift on a security gig, so it was overnight and I had worked 12 hours plus the night before. I had worked an extra 4 hours on a 12-hour shift because of somebody coming in late. So I was on 2 hours sleep. I knew I had to go take care of this ticket, so I did it the minute I got off of work, which was 7 a.m. I went straight to the courthouse to go take care of it. I don't know if if they do this, but in some courthouses they do this where they take care of all the traffic tickets in one court, and they'll put like a tape where you walk in and they say, you have three options. You can plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. And it tells you all the different things, like what that will happen if you do that or whatever. And if you want to get a trial or whatever, right? And so this tape is going, and it's just like this lady's just going, and then not to mention that it also has to do the Spanish version of that announcement, and because it's a special court, I guess they decided to have the Philippine versions of that of that message. So you get the English version, then you get the Spanish version, then you get the Philippine version, and it's just a long, recording that's just going, and I'm sitting in this like air conditioned, like big old comfy, and this traffic court, I gotta give it up. It's one of the most comfortable seats I've ever been in. Maybe I was tired, I don't know, but I was just like relaxed. Oh yeah, and I fell asleep good. Like I'm talking about like I was done, like I was gone, and then nobody could wake me up. And to top it all off, because I was so like into my sleep, I was snoring my ass off, and I was just like sawing them logs, and the judge walks in. The judge walks in because the bailiff, I guess, they told somebody to push me because they were going to tell the judge to come in. So I guess I stopped snoring when they hit me or whatever, but I still wasn't awake. I didn't know that this was going on. The judge comes in. I guess everybody sits down. They start calling people's names, and as they're calling names, how there's like action, I guess, going on, so they can't really hear me while everybody's like calling out their cases and everything. But then there's that moment when they call your case, and they called my case, and I was still asleep when they called it. And so they called my case and they skipped it. And so, yeah, they let me sleep. They let me sleep until, like they were. Oh, it was so embarrassing. I'll never forget it. It was just one of those where it's like, wow, I can't believe like I just straight fell asleep in front of all these strangers,
I keep on. Maybe I'm gonna have to go check some of these court cam channels and see if you're in there. Okay, here's a guy in a traffic court back here sawing logs in the back of the galley. See if I can find. See if you have a video out there that we don't know of you.
Oh no, this was before all the court video and all that stuff. So no, I don't think it's out there. I mean, nah, I don't think so. It was actually the San Diego court. It was a rare, very rare thing to go to that court. The only reason why I got a ticket out there was because we went to go see a football game, and coming back because California has agricultural checks, like when you're coming back from Mexico. So when you're coming back from Mexico, like when you're hitting the what's it called,
border,
Altadena, like the Altadena, not Altadena, sorry, that's not it. San Isidro, no, that's TJ. What is
but
it?
I get the same thing. Like I go up to Reno sometimes, and I do the because I'll come back into California, and I get that same thing up there.
Yeah, well, when they do the agricultural check, they make all the cars go to the side or whatever, or like they'll check every other car or whatever. Well, they were pulling over the cars to go through, like, I guess the camera, and when I went through it, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. Yeah, and my whole thing was like, oh, I don't want them to see me with the cell phone, right? Like I put down my cell phone or whatever, and I completely forgot about the seatbelt. So when I got to the portion where like you're hitting the bumps and they either do the green light on you or the red light, I got the red light, and I'm like, so I stopped, and then the guy looks into the car, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he's gonna ask me for my license or whatever, right? I go for it, and he's like, why aren't you wearing your seatbelt? I'm all like, oh, I'm all like, oh, I got busted. I'm all like, I forgot.
You had that blank stare, like in that interview that Katie just showed her. That dude's like, "What? They found it? What?"
that was a sick busted, because I'm thinking the whole time, like, I hope they didn't see my cell phone here. Let me get my license. I'm gonna be cool. Because at the same time, I remember that day. I think that day I had just got my new license. I think I only had it for like a week, so I felt really good, because before I had a license that had like a lot of scratches on it. So a lot of officers would tell me like, is this a real license? I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but when you're handing out a license a lot, it like becomes see-through in a way, like it becomes clear. I don't know if you ever seen this. Have you seen this?
The card, you mean?
Yeah, the card. Like, because look, I used to work for Union Pacific. So in Union Pacific, they had like some sort of procedures where if you were gonna go, like, say get a vehicle that you were gonna drive in the yard, you had to give up your license because they have to check you in and all this other stuff, right? So I was constantly giving my license to somebody to go check out my cars and stuff, you know. And so
Mhm.
every time I would go, I guess whoever kept driving, they kept driving in the same spot, and eventually the card became clear in that little area, and it was right over the area that it showed my expiration date. So every time a cop would look at my license, they'll be like, "How come you're trying to erase your expiration date?" I'm all like, "I'm not trying to erase it. I really am not, you know." And they'll be like, "Well, it looks like you're trying to erase it." I'm all like, "I'm not. Why would I try to erase my?" Okay, whatever, you know. But but yeah, so I was happy like that week because I was like, I got my new license or whatever, and I was thinking like, oh, today I'm not gonna get any crap for my license. Like I
Right.
got crap.
So now you're just like, pull me over, I don't care. Just like I was yesterday. Come talk to me, you know.
Oh, we're nuts. Scotto, stop it. You're a bad influence on me.
That's me. I've been told that before.
It's not gonna be blame Kick no more. It's gonna be blame Scotto.
There you go, Blaine Scotto.
Well, well, I don't know. I wasn't expecting much from this stream. I really was hoping that I had somebody else join me, but I guess either he didn't get the email or he's busy or whatever. But oh well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And I'm glad that Katie was here. That was cool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
super fun. She's such a good. I almost feel like she maybe went to school. I didn't get a chance to ask her, but I'm sure we'll talk again. But it's almost like she maybe has done some journalism study in the past or something. She comes across as someone that's just a really excellent interviewer.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing is that if when you're like, you know, you kind of understand, you know, how to like take on, you know, certain conversations and stuff like that when you are a manager. You know what I mean? I absolutely get it. You know, the way she, you know, like the way she conversates and stuff like that. It's like I understand where she's coming from with that. When you're doing a bunch of things at one time, you know, like you want to be able to have clear communication. You know what I mean? So you get used to that. You get used to like having to be able to tell people like, hey, I need this, and you know what I mean. And you learn how to express yourself in a certain manner. And so she's got that. And then the other thing too is that I think she you know, she's focused. You know what I mean? She's not easily distracted. I think that's probably the thing that keeps her, you know, like from deviating. You know, like she has a good focus. That's really good.
Agreed, like
I don't know.
focused and attentive. The first time
Yeah.
I saw her was I was watching one of those West live streams, and New York Public Tour comes on talking about things, and he's a little bit all over the place. You know, some people are they just kind of give a long rambling answer, but you know, and it was getting to be a little long winded. But then Katie comes in and literally starts kind of having an interview with him. And, you know, New York might give a long, maybe 8 sentence answer, but she will pick out the key things that he said in there and turn around and ask him another question about it. And she's not condescending about it at all. She's asking like legit questions about, hey, you said this earlier, and you said that earlier. So what about this and that? And it was just a great format to watch.
Well, you know, and I wanted to ask her about that, but my mic started messing up on me. Like when you brought it up, my mic started it started running out of battery, so it started doing this thing where I was talking, but you guys couldn't hear me because it was like cutting in and out. So I decided to like, oh man, I better just unplug it so like that I could actually, you know, talk. And I was gonna ask her when you brought it up, but like since I didn't get to, and you know, like I didn't like. I knew that once she said she had limited time, I was like, you know what? I'll wait to bring it up. But I really like to know her thoughts on New York Public Tour. if she did have an interview with him, because I think, you know, like I think sometimes, you know, like we or some people in the community want to give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit, you know, like so they give them a chance to talk about stuff or whatever. They give a chance to, so they can say their side or whatever. But this guy, the whole time, ever since he came on to, like, I think it was Reaper's channel was the first time that we had seen him. Ever since he's been on, I've never believed the thing that he said. and I've never thought that he had any kind of there's no leg for him to stand on in any of his arguments. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, for me, it's like you could just easily walk away, but you don't. Like, even if you want to call the people who are attacking you immature, even if you want to say that they're coming at you because they don't like you or whatever, and at the end of the day, you could just walk away. You really could just walk away, but you don't. Because why? Because it's your ego. You're the one who's prideful. You're the one who's doing all the dumb things, and you don't want to admit it. It's plain and simple. You don't want to admit. You don't want to admit you're wrong, so you just keep doubling down. It's just so funny to me. Like, I think he's a sad man. And I think he has a problem taking pictures of people's kids. Like, I'm not accusing him of anything else other than that, because that's what he's been accused of, and a whole village can't be wrong.
Right, and like I honestly couldn't even keep up with it anymore. But like you said, he's got this issue, I guess, with his ego, or he's just really super stubborn. But every time he wants to come on somewhere and try and explain himself, maybe he's just a bad communicator. I don't know, but he just seems to dig himself a deeper hole every time. You might mess it up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
You can't multitask. You were reading. I get it.
yeah, exactly. He's a frauder. What are you gonna say, huh?
Mm-hmm.
These guys, they just there is no argument. There's nothing that you're gonna get out of them that's gonna be fruitful. So that's why I don't even bother. I don't like getting into that argument. But yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna cut this one a little shorter than yesterday's, but I think for the day, like, I know people are probably celebrating Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, by the way. And yeah, I just wanted to, like, have a quick hang and say hi to everybody. I probably won't do another live until the weekend again, but I'll probably start on Friday again. Other than that, like, if you guys are following what's next or what I'm going to do next, check Professor Crack's channel. If you're not subscribed, go to Professor Crack and go subscribe to him, because I know he's got things coming up that he wants to do. And look out for Team Skeptic, because he also wants to do something with me, but I have no idea what it is yet. He says we're 2 months out, so we'll see.
All right. He wants to keep you in suspense.
You ain't lying. All right, Scott, thank you very much for showing up. And everybody in the chat, thank you for showing up. You guys are the best. KDZ, can't say anything more, but thank you too.
It was awesome. And thank you, Jay. Thanks for the invite. And thank you, all of y'all out there. Happy Mother's Day. The world will be nowhere without mommies, right?
Well, I don't think we would be here without.
Exactly.
Okay, I love you guys. See ya.
Alrighty, have a good day. Bye-bye.